7 banned cleats in the NFL. NFL is widely known as no fun league because of its strict rules that sometimes are considered worthless. The NFL changed its rules regarding footwear in 2017, moving from a strict requirement that all team footwear fall within certain color and design parameters, to one where players can wear personalized cleats during warm-up times and the pregame. Those personalized cleats still need to be approved, but as long as there are no unapproved logos or trademarks, and presumably nothing offensive, players can let loose in terms of cleat colors outside of the main game itself. Once the game begins, however, players have to change back into cleats that are black, white, or what's called a constitutional color, or official team color. So with that in mind, let's see 7 banned cleats in the NFL. Number 7. Joker cleats. NFL players are allowed to wear creative cleats during warm-ups, but when it comes time to take to the field for the actual game, the strict NFL uniform standards take effect. Cleats are required to contain a consistent team color for every player. But for the game between the Broncos and Browns, wide receivers Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry chose to ignore the league's uniform mandates, wearing custom cleats instead of the typical Browns team cleats. Beckham in particular wore white Joker-themed cleats. Landry's cleats were gold and orange. The league, though, reportedly went to great lengths to get the two receivers back into compliant footwear. According to the CBS broadcast, league officials went to the Browns' locker room at halftime and informed Beckham and Landry that they had to change their cleats, or else they would have been prohibited from playing in the second half. In all likelihood, Beckham and Landry were prepared for a fine and wore the cleats because they liked them. But the possibility of an ejection was spelled out in the league's uniform guidelines. For violation of this Section 4 discovered during pregame warm-up or at other times prior to the game, player will be advised to make appropriate correction. If violation is not corrected, player will not be permitted to enter the game. Even if the league's uniform rules are needlessly strict, this seemed like an easily avoidable distraction. They had to know that the best case scenario was a full game in those cleats and a hefty fine. Instead, they reportedly were threatened with an ejection over their footwear. According to Beckham, Nike had planned out his cleat designs for the season back in June, with the Browns initially slated to wear white jerseys for the road game in Denver. Yet the Browns made a late uniform switch, opting to wear their brown uniforms against Denver's orange jerseys. It was an odd uniform matchup that Beckham and Nike were unprepared for. He said, "On Wednesday or Thursday, we switched jerseys from the white to the all-brown. So I had no cleats left to wear, none that I could have worn. And the black ones that I was wearing for the rest of the game, for some reason, was just hurting my feet. So I went to the ones that was most comfortable. I was pretty sure that they changed the rule and cleats weren't a big deal. It's only a big deal to people that are talking about it." Number 6. Craig Sager cleats. New York Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. said he was fined $18,000 by the NFL for wearing cleats dedicated to the late NBA analyst Craig Sager in 2016. Beckham revealed the fine for the cleats he wore during the Giants' Week 15 matchup against the Detroit Lions in a reply to an Instagram post from Washington Redskins receiver Deshaun Jackson. "I got fined $18K for Craig Sager cleats that were auctioned off the cleats to the highest bidder and donating the proceeds to his cancer research," Beckham wrote on Jackson's post. $18K like it's nothing to them. No warning to take them off or anything. Nothing. The colorful cleats did not match up with the league's ruling of acceptable footwear. In the official NFL 2016 rulebook, it was said that teams must designate a certain color scheme, which includes 3 different colors. Number 5. Christmas cleats. Saints rookie running back Alvin Kamara says the NFL has fined him $6,079 for wearing Christmas-themed red cleats with white trim back in 2017. Kamara, who gained 90 yards in his red shoes, says lightheartedly that the fine makes the NFL look like the Grinch. Kamara says it was worth it. He hopes to parlay publicity from his banned holiday cleats into a fundraiser and supply athletic footwear to children. Kamara's red cleats were topped by a thick white lining reminiscent of the trim on a Santa costume, along with bells. He removed the bells for the game, but says he wanted to wear the cleats despite a warning from officials they violated league uniform standards. So the Grinch may eventually steal some of Kamara's Christmas money, but the Grinch didn't actually intervene with his ability to celebrate this season. Given past accounts of NFL players being instructed to remove non-conforming shoes, some have wondered why the league didn't direct Kamara to change his mismatched green and red Christmas cleats during Friday's 6-touchdown day against the Vikings. Kamara's shoes presented neither a safety issue nor a branding problem. Thus, he was allowed to wear them. So for now, Kamara was allowed to wear shoes that went jingle jangle jingle for the entirety of the game. Number 4. Yeezy cleats. The NFL has deemed Kanye's brand new Yeezy cleats far too fashionable for its fields. This seems like the kind of controversy that should actually work out for Yee in the end. When the NFL season kicked off in 2016, some of the league's best players were spotted rocking more stylish than usual cleats. Turns out, Yeezy had personally and somewhat surprisingly gifted Yeezy-branded cleats to players like the Denver Broncos' Von Miller and Houston Texans receiver DeAndre Hopkins. Well, the NFL fined Hopkins for rocking the Yeezy 350. Hopkins has to pony up $6,000. The shoe's black and white speckled colorway is a violation of the league's uniform rules. Rules dictate that all players' shoes have to have a solid base color. As he said, Hopkins won't wear the shoes again unless Yeezy himself wants to pony up the $6,000 per game. Number 3. Police tape cleats. Washington Redskins receiver Deshaun Jackson made a social statement in 2016 regarding the senseless killing of both citizens and police by wearing specially designated cleats during the 31-20 win over the Cleveland Browns at the FedEx Field. Jackson wore the white and blue cleats with yellow caution tape painted on them during warmups and kept them on as the game started. He commissioned artist Marco Rivera, aka Souls by Sir, to paint the shoes. Jackson could be subject to a fine for violating the NFL's uniform policy by wearing the cleats during a game. The Redskins declared their support for Jackson in a statement. "We stand in support of both Deshaun and the law enforcement community," the team said. "We have great respect for law enforcement and the sacrifices they make each and every day to protect and serve our communities. We continue to have open dialogue with our players about issues that are important to them and support their efforts to bring awareness to those issues when done in a responsible manner." Number 2. Green cleats. Chicago Bears wide receiver Brandon Marshall says he's been fined $10,500 by the NFL for wearing green cleats in a 2013 game against the New York Giants. He said he was wearing the shoes to attract attention to Mental Health Awareness Week. And as it's known, Marshall has been treated for a personality disorder in the past. He posted a league letter informing him of the fine on Twitter and wrote, "Football is my platform, not my purpose. This fine is nothing compared to the conversation started and awareness raised." He was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder in 2011 and wanted to use the nationally televised game to raise awareness about the issue. And while the NFL permitted Marshall to wear the green shoes, it was with the understanding that he would be fined for doing so. "I'm going to get fined and I'm going to match that, and we want to partner with a cancer care charity," Marshall said before the game. "We're still working on the details to really give back to an organization that is doing work in the mental health area. Also, the diagnosis of breast cancer can hit families hard. It affects all of us." The league's decision to fine Marshall was enough for Boston Globe reporter Shalise Monza-Young to tweet, "NFL looks petty fining players for wrong shoe color anyway, but fining Brandon Marshall $10,500 because his cause isn't the league's cause? SMH." Number 1. 2 black cleats. Chicago Bears tight end Martellus Bennett was fined $5,787 for wearing black cleats. Yeah, you heard that right. Black cleats. According to the NFL's rulebook, which has a surprisingly lengthy section on shoes, teams must designate white or black dominant cleats before the season. Chicago chose white, which explains the league's reasoning for fining Bennett. He did break the rule, but he does bring up some interesting points about the fine. He has a history of foot injuries, and says the blacked out Air Jordan 7 cleats, which haven't yet been released in white, help keep him healthy. "I'm just pissed off at the NFL," Bennett told the Chicago Tribune. "They get mad because my cleats are too black, but they're perfect for my feet. And I feel like they're supposed to protect the players, and I have a certain shoe that feels the best with my foot. I've had foot problems over the last 2 years." Bennett doesn't have a contract with official league outfitter Nike and usually adds even more black to his cleats to make sure he doesn't break other rules. "I black out the logo so I don't get fined for wearing something that's not official or whatever, but they're too black," he said. "Maybe I'm going to have to paint them white." When he heard that he was fined just because his cleats were too black, that's what he had left to say. "I'm just pissed off at the NFL. They get mad because my cleats were too black. They're perfect for my feet. I feel like they're supposed to protect the players, and I have a certain shoe that feels the best on my foot. I've had foot problems over the last 2 years. And they fine me because they're too black. They don't make them in white. I'm not a Nike guy, so I'm kind of upset about that." Do you think NFL rules are too bizarre when it comes to wearing cleats? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on your post notifications so you never miss a video from us. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.